welcome back to Lethal. I have a massive episode for you today. I'm joined by some of my favorite people to talk about the biggest film of the year, the Odyssey. But before that, let's jump into some Lethal news and all the latest from San Diego Comic-Con. Okay, let's jump into Comic-Con news now. We have some massive trailers, including the first look at the Prime Video series Blade Runner 2099. It stars Hunter Schafer and Oscar winner Michelle Yeoh. The upcoming TV series is directly connected to the iconic sci-fi franchise, with the series taking place 50 years after the events of Denis Villeneuve's film Blade Runner 2049. All 8 episodes will stream on Prime Video in November. Director Zach Cregger released a brand new trailer for his Resident Evil movie coming out in November. While talking on a panel about the upcoming film, he was of course asked about weapons and the much rumored Aunt Gladys prequel. He did confirm that a script is being worked on by Cregger and Zach Shields. He will produce and write, but not direct. The film is currently scheduled to arrive in theaters September 2028. The Rings of Power got a new trailer for Season 3. The third season will bring new characters, including Simon Pegg as the voice of the Balrog, and finally we'll see Sauron creating the One Ring. Now, this show definitely isn't the Game of Thrones hit that Prime Video expected, but it definitely has its fan base, and this will stream on Prime Video in November this year. The morning show has been confirmed to have its final season next year, with the 5th season planned to be the last. According to Apple News, the show stars and producers Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon confirmed that they're excited to be able to film the final season and close out the storylines with the streaming giant's cornerstone show. The 5th and final season of the morning show is expected to air on Apple TV next year. Finally, HBO Max revealed a brand new trailer for Lanterns at San Diego Comic-Con. The extended trailer introduces us to the main villain of the series, the Manhunters, and we got our first look at Sinestro. The two leads, Kyle Chandler, who plays Hal Jordan, and Aaron Pierre, who plays Jon Stewart, both attended a panel where more footage was shown. Now, you can check out the trailer and all of the other trailers I've been talking about over on YouTube. All right, that is it for all of the big news for this week. Let's dive straight into my Odyssey round panel chat. I rounded out some really cool local people in Melbourne, even got Pat from Sydney to jump in on a call, and we talk all things Odyssey, why we love it, why we maybe don't love it, what to expect, and what's next for famed director Christopher Nolan. To talk about the biggest film to come out at the movies last week. Of course, I'm talking Minions and Monsters. No, it's the Odyssey, of course. And I have some friends, which is fun. So I've got Adam Ross.
Hello.
Where are you from?
Look, wherever will have me, really, like Odysseus. No, I ABC currently. ABC puts up with my shit at the moment, and yeah, lots of different places. But my current home, is at the 3 Scene Heroes, which is 4 Scene Heroes, maybe 5 Scene Heroes tonight.
Thought you said 4 Skin Heroes. I'm like, that's a very different podcast.
That's my other podcast. That's podcast I'm doing after this.
It's the Supergirl special cup.
We also have Carlo from This Is Phil.
Yay! Back again after my fucking
Daddy C.
Doomsday rant. Yeah.
No, it was good.
Yeah.
Thanks for staying.
Nice Doomsday conversation we had. Yeah.
It was. And Khan, new boy.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Where are you from?
I'm mostly from the Curb, but I also write for NovaStream, and This Is Film.
Yeah, you're a bit of a critical hussy, aren't you?
Yeah.
The critical hussy.
The critical hussy.
Speaking of NovaStream, we also have Pat.
G'day everyone.
Welcome.
Howdy, Pat.
Do you want to plug your other site too?
The Age XP.
Nice.
So that's more gaming and pop culture related. So bit of everything around the place.
Nice. Well, we're going to quickly just go to Carlo because he's got daddy duties. So Carlo, Odyssey, what did you think?
Probably the definitive cinematic experience of at least the first half of this year, I guess. It's going to be very hard to top.
Thank you for pausing and giving me direct eye contact.
I
Appreciate
should have looked at Khan, but no, he probably wouldn't have understood.
He's too pure for your
He's
jokes.
too pure. He's a lovely little boy, isn't he? Yeah, no, I loved it from top to bottom, and I've kind of fucked it for myself because I've seen it twice now in IMAX, and I refuse to see it in any other format. So yeah, it's once you see it as quote unquote Nolan intended,
As it's intended
to be seen, it's very hard to want to see it in any other way. Yeah. What did Nick? I just wanted to get this in there. Nick Labaro actually had a really good quote. He was saying that the last 30 minutes of this film is like being bukkakied by sound. So I have to
Did
get
you
all of
agree
this.
with that?
Did you
I would
forget
absolutely agree with it. Yes, absolutely.
Fella
your
puts wax in
personal
his ears
experience.
during the screening? Yeah. Tie me to the mast.
Yeah, exactly. Tie it to the mast, and yeah, let me try and scratch the itch. Is the unscratchable itch?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want me to give it a rating?
Sure.
I don't know. Fuck, I give it 4.5 bowstrings out of 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. The 1.5 loss, half a point lost for some of the sound design kind of gave me the shits a bit.
Are you going to see it again at the cinema?
If
you can.
If I can, yes. I know that I know that Labaro is coming down in September, and I would like to try and sneak in a cheeky sesh then. But I'll try and see it one more time before it leaves IMAX. So yeah,
Cool.
cool.
I would encourage you to go to a different format.
Really?
Apex.
Which one?
Apex was
Hoyts?
way better than IMAX.
I had a
D-box.
suspicion that Apex would be
Like
the best.
it was
Really?
I was
just because of the
shocked.
contrast. Have you seen anything in Apex yet?
I think
And,
we saw.
I saw Masters of the
Ben-
Universe and Apex.
Ben from Bad Movie Reviews went last night. Sorry, Ben, if I got that wrong. And yeah, he was like, yeah, that was better than IMAX. I think because the sound is better than IMAX's sound, so maybe some of your sound
Really?
issues will disappear.
Okay.
Apex goes
And
around the side,
screen
doesn't it?
No, that's Screen X, just to confuse.
This one's slightly curved, isn't it?
Apex is slightly curved, but it's like wall to wall.
You know when you
It's really
walk
hard
in,
to do this on a podcast.
Wall to
with
wall, ceiling to
hands.
floor.
Ceiling to floor.
Yeah.
Thank you.
and when you walk into like JB Hi-Fi and you go in the display room and you go, "What the fuck is that?" And you're seeing like a 4K aquarium or something. It's got that beguiling kind of thing.
That
where you
level
go,
of-
Really?
Oh
level
yeah,
of
yeah. You go
fidelity, yeah.
far. Yeah, it's just so, like the
I'll
contrast.
send
of,
you a
like,
video of some footage I took.
Because when we're at the
Alright,
back
cool.
of Masters of the Universe, even when it just had the welcoming frame, I kept saying to Al, I go, "Why am I fucking staring at this? Like it's kind of like it's really fascinating." He goes,
Was
"Man,
that-
it's just so clear."
Was that Apex?
Yeah, that
Masters
was
of the
Apex.
Oh,
Masters
that
of
was
the Universe.
great.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
thought this is probably the premiere for like blockbuster action films. Spider-Man will look ballistic in it.
Well, Spider-Man is filmed in Screen X, so you should go
No,
to that.
parts of the scenes. Not all, not the whole thing, but some of it is.
No,
filmed
but
Spider-Man.
yeah,
Because it's not getting an
Well,
IMAX because the Odyssey
because of the Odyssey is just
dominating.
basically
There's no
Yeah.
IMAX screenings for Spider-Man.
none.
Nope.
Yeah, and they're talking about extending the IMAX screenings out.
well, if
for-
they're selling out,
It's
Yeah.
booked
Like-
till September.
my friend in Sydney went at 6 a.m. opening day,
yeah,
and then went to work and sent me a photo of him with his white monster in his lap.
we'll always have.
It's a drink.
We will.
It's a drink.
a
drink.
One-eyed monster.
It is a drink. Okay.
Unbelievable.
It can be.
Final words from Carlo.
I'm just glad that the reactionary contingent of the internet took a gigantic fucking L over this film. They put all of their little culture war eggs in a single basket, and have come out with their fucking wheels spinning. And I hope they can all just go collectively fuck themselves. It's great. And I love the fact that it is Nolan who's done that to them. Because Nolan
Yeah.
has, in the past, traditionally has been their daddy in a way.
Of the film bros, he's
Of
the
the film
highest.
bros, he is
Him and
the-
Quentin
he is-
Tarantino, right?
Yeah, he is alpha film bro in a way.
Mm.
Like, yeah, if there's a holy trinity, it's Scorsese, Nolan, and then
Tarantino.
And QT.
right? If one of the three comes out and is just like, well, makes a film that I don't know why. It's just weird to like for them to all put their fucking eggs in this angry basket and then like, what did you expect to happen? is the thing that I don't understand. That's the thing I find baffling about this whole situation.
I'll kind of admit that, I guess, being terminally online sometimes, I was a little bit worried that it might work in some capacity. I'm like, they're really going...
There was never any part of me that thought this was going to work.
I thought they were going after it so aggressive. And people are still messaging me going, and they go, I respect you, should I go? And I'm like, yes, you should fucking go, you know? But I thought, like, now and then some people will be disincentivized from going, but it turns out it is just a bullshit internet thing. And the general audiences just don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
right?
it is.
Yeah.
It is. And it's completely, like, undone them.
This is
in
a
way.
very kind of specific thing, but what I find interesting is that some of the negative reviews that, what are there, like 6, like internationally, basically, but they're normally from people that champion progressive film. So I find that strange that, like, the people that I thought were going to go, this is an inclusive movie, they're the ones that gave it the 2 stars. So I don't know. I mean, in terms of like, so the chuds were probably going, just you wait till you read the negative reviews. I'm like, man, they're like hen's teeth. There's not many of them.
Now it's his highest rated film in his entire filmography.
Yeah, no, totally. Even more than Oppenheimer.
It might actually be his highest, like, grossing film too.
Is Quentin Tarantino doing a sequel to Brokeback Mountain next?
Yeah, he's filming it in Tel Aviv.
In Infinity Vision.
Infinity Vision? Yeah.
Don't get me started.
Imagine if all these film bros end up making these movies, right? Like
Infinity Vision is genuinely the funniest fucking thing ever. Even as an MCU bro, that is the funniest shit ever.
So that wouldn't exist if not for Dune 3.
Yeah.
Infinity Vision. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Denis, you're well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I got to go home and be a dad.
All right. Carlo has gone. So I'm going to go around and maybe just get a 3-minute tops thoughts on the movie. Let's start with Pat.
I think I'm a little bit different to a lot of you guys. I enjoyed the movie. I have nothing really negative to say about it, except for probably that first 15 minutes was probably the longest hour of my life.
Everyone is nodding their heads. Yeah.
It very much feels like one of those movies that you need to see. You need to see and experience it because it isn't more of an experience than most will understand until they get it in front of themselves. But overall, I'm glad I saw it, but I won't be going to see it again.
Would you watch it at home again?
Probably not. It's like nothing wrong with it. I think the pacing of the movie kind of threw me a little bit. I understand, the cloudy sort of nature that it was done as it was being told through the eyes of Odysseus, as he was sort of affected by the lotus. And, that kind of works well as that comes into, you sort of sit back and reflect on it afterwards. But, I'm glad I went and saw it. The performances from top to bottom were absolutely phenomenal. Those sound, the scenes, reading today about the forced perspective shots that they were doing to, limit the use of CGI throughout was phenomenal. So it's definitely an experience that you need to go and watch at least once.
Cool. Khan, let's go with you next.
3 minutes? All right. So yeah, I went into the film with a bit of trepidation. I thought the trailers were there was a lot of obfuscation. Found it a bit like Nolan was holding his cards very close to his chest. And for that reason, I did walk into the film with a bit of my arms crossed, as in I have always respected and enjoyed Nolan's experiences on the big screen, but have always found his sort of visual sensibilities to be like nothing more than a luxury watch ad. And his issues with writing women and issues with writing natural dialogue that is not filled with endless exposition. I was like, how is he going to tackle the oldest story in human history? Thankfully, when I watched it, the first time I was very blown away. I was enthralled the whole 3 hours. I do agree the first act feels the most edited and cut down in a way that almost alienates the viewer in a way that you're like, why do I care about this? But by the time it settles into Odysseus' journey home and then an extremely rousing third act, I thoroughly enjoyed it. On second viewing, which I saw in IMAX again in the front row of all places, it was interesting. I'd never sat in the front row before. I thought it was a very evocative film. And the more I thought about it, I thought you have taken a near 3,000-year-old story and you have turned it into a modern anti-war fable about a man that has broken the world and as such has to do everything he can to try and face his karmic retribution because of it. And watching it the second time, I got that theme a lot more from it, and I really appreciated it for that reason. Along with amazing performances, absolutely, Ludwig is on an undeniable run as a composer. Like, it's just astounding what he can create, like auditorily, that's unique. So yeah, I really, really dug it.
Yeah. Nice. Adam?
It's hard to follow, can't. Oh no, look, I probably echo an enormous amount of sentiments of Khan's in the regard that the trailers did not grab me. I have learnt that I am nothing if not maybe a giant fucking hypocrite about a bunch of stuff. And Nolan is probably my biggest sin in the regard that I have been a card-carrying, kind of flag-waving Nolan bro when the films are being released. I remember I had a girlfriend around the time that The Dark Knight came out, and I had 4 Dark Knight posters in my room, and she's like, "You're kind of into this?" I'm like, "Yeah, kind of." Like 4 posters of one film in one bedroom, right, is a bit excessive. And so I had Memento in 3 different kind of like DVD formats, and I would, I remember I went to a midnight screening of Dark Knight Rises, and when I was Rotten Tomatoes accredited, I gave it 5 stars. And so and I think I called it the film of the year, right? Like if I went back, I'll admit that, right? So then now and then I do this thing, and I've done it on the podcast with Al before, and I'm like, I don't really think Christopher Nolan's that great, right? And like fucking says
I have that recording.
Now, but the beauty of human nature is that we're allowed to be wrong and we're allowed to grow. And so I guess that I did head into this with some trepidation. I really admire Oppenheimer, and and I cannot deny its successes financially and critically and at the Academy Awards. But I do think that Christopher Nolan is I call him a blackboard filmmaker, because his movies are basically him drawing diagrams and explaining something on a blackboard. And so it comes with a lot of exposition. And I'm a screenwriter myself, and I really work very hard not to do that. I'd rather put things into action. The thing that I really like about the Odyssey is that a lot of the tools that he normally uses are just not there or not available to him. I could see that there's a variation of the Odyssey where someone sits down and they go, this is what this symbolizes and this is why we're going there. But this edit is so brutal that it's constantly in motion, and he has no ability to use that tool. So it is my favorite Christopher Nolan film, I think, by kind of a stretch. I do think that, this is kind of, to me, it's like the ultimate dad movie. And I think that I like to make a lot of analogies, and I like to think of filmmaking as cooking sometimes. And when I was watching this, I'm like, yeah, this is like Sunday roast the movie. It's got all your macronutrients in big fat slabs, and it's really comforting, and you know exactly what you're going to get. There's a little bit of mint jelly in there, like Samantha Morton and stuff like that. There's a bit of freakiness in there that Nolan's never done. But I'm like, this is just such a big fat meat and potatoes movie. And I think that it is simultaneously is radically accessible and overwhelming at the same time. And I think that what Emily Willis has done here with her adaptation of The Odyssey, which Nolan has kind of picked up like a football and ran with it, is fantastic, because, I'm having everyone come up to me and saying, man, I saw The Odyssey and I loved it. And I think that now and then there's a real big fear that when we are falling over ourselves exalting something and there's small oil tankers of ink being spilled on a film, everyone goes, you guys are sniffing your own farts and it's not that good a movie. But this is like, people really are liking this. I can't bribe someone to go 3 times. If they're going, it means it resonated with them and it's good. So I feel that this has got a kind of Titanic vibe to it, like where it's just a general, like when you're at an Airbnb and they've got like 5 DVDs and you go, fuck yeah. I reckon The Odyssey is going to be one of those DVDs. And
I think that for a film that looked so inaccessible, it has ended up being arguably his most successful film.
I know. Yeah. It's crazy, right? And I do think that there will be, it's way too early to tell, but I do feel that this is going to be the kind of movie you go around to someone's house on Sunday and they're half pissed and they go, dude, I'm watching The Odyssey. And you go, sick. You sit down and you get back into it. And I think that that's the hallmark of kind of, a good enduring classic. So I really like it. I really admire and I like it. With Nolan, I'm normally in just one of those camps, but this has got both for me.
Guess who the personal trainer is? Macros, all that stuff. Yeah.
Done a lot of meat analogy. Speaking
so
of,
have I.
Speaking of macros, I have to give a shout out just how ripped Matt Damon is in this movie too as well. And I think Matt Damon
for his age though, that would have not been easy, right?
Oh, it would have been unbelievably difficult. I think that he was extremely disciplined, and I do think that
he said Damon, it was the most grueling thing he's ever filmed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I agree. I think that Damon is
Interesting.
to me the unequivocal MVP of this movie. There are showier performances, but I do think that he's the glue that holds all this together. And I think that his innate goodness gives this movie so much emotional mileage. And we've watched him grow up. And so like kind of seeing this man that's unmoored and dispossessed, you kind of go, okay, like there's a whole subgenre of film of get Matt Damon home, like The Martian, Saving Private Ryan of this, right? So,
I have seen those memes. How many $1 billion must we spend to bring Matt Damon home?
But a few people have been
Yeah.
saying, what is hypothetical alternative casting? And some people said, well, what about Christian Bale and this and that? And I truly believe that if you take Damon out, if you put any other mainstream viable actor in this role, it changes the complete DNA of this production. I think that Damon, there's something about him that's just so kind of likable. And, you know,
It wouldn't be as empathetic
No, it wouldn't.
with Christian
right?
Bale, you know? Yeah.
And he is very, like, out of those choices, he's probably the most dad, like,
Yep.
most believable as a dad.
Mm.
And, oh, God, yeah, you're going to get me down that track.
Oh, no.
I'm trying to be clean and keep it PG, and your little
Totally.
smirk keeps sending me down that path.
No.
But yeah, I think I was surprised because, like you, I think the message I sent you before the screening was the Nolan bros are lining up to drink their bro juice from Daddy Nolan. Because when I got to IMAX, there was like 6 film bros like at the front at the glass, like let me in. So I'm just like, oh, I can feel like what this movie's going to be. So for me, it was a bit of a surprise that it wasn't that. And I think why I liked the plot more than other people is because my favorite Nolan movie is Tenet.
Mm.
And everyone goes,
Wait,
what? I love it. I watch it
Hot
every
take.
year. I love that movie so much.
You're on a watch list. Tenant.
I liked it by the
love
4th
that
viewing.
movie.
It took me 4. I liked it on the 4th go.
You're on the same watch list as well.
Pat, back me up.
You're on your own there.
Damn it.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
mate.
Thanks for coming
that is
along. This has
ultimate-
been
Yeah, thank you very much. I'll see you next time. Yeah.
Tenet is ultimate Nolan wank.
I enjoy. Well, okay. Let me clarify. I think I mainly enjoyed it because of Isaiah Washington, but it is a good movie, and I did like the messing
John
around.
David.
Huh?
John David Washington.
Thank you. Where did
And
I
Robert
get
Pattinson.
Isaiah Washington from? Anyway, yes,
That's another folder on your laptop.
Yeah, it is. What's he been in since?
Who, John David
Sidebar.
Washington?
Yeah.
Look, I think that Tenet was such a kind of shit the bed moment for Nolan that I don't think. This is going to sound bad.
It's almost like we're sitting in front of computers that
look,
could
he did-
tell us this.
No, but look, he did the creator, as well.
Creator.
But I
Creator.
hated that movie as well.
Oh, that terrible.
I saw a few comments recently
good.
about Glenn Powell, and people said, stop trying to make Glenn Powell a thing. And I feel like before him, they were trying to make John David Washington a thing. And I like Black Klansman, but I didn't buy it. I don't think that John David has got the ability to anchor a Nolan ensemble like Tenet. Like what Damon does here, I think is way out
Well,
of
it's just
reach
called
with
the
John David.
protagonist. It doesn't even have a name, which I guess is the point, but he's particularly icy in it for good reason.
I just thought he was hot. I wasn't looking deep into it. So
Valid.
yeah, for me, like this is the 3rd Anne Hathaway film of the year out of 5.
Out of 5.
Out of 5, because she's got The End of Oak Street next
Street.
month.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then she has that thriller movie with Amanda Seyfried.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
On top of Mother Mary and Devil Wears Prada too.
yes. So for me, this is probably the best Anne Hathaway of the year performance.
I'd agree.
She's very good.
Yeah.
And I know there's that, typical thing of Nolan can't write for women. And I think this is probably the best time
Yep.
that he's written for women. And that was a surprise because I am on that train of, oh, here we go. What's your dialogue going to be? Like, help me, save me. And I think her very subtle performance was the opposite of that. And I liked that she was really, really tough on Tom Holland's character. I can't be bothered reading his name.
I also like
But-
that she's really tough to the suitors
Yeah.
because I watched The Return with Ray Fiennes, which is the adaptation of the last third of the Odyssey.
I don't
which
think I've
came
seen
out
that.
It came out in 2 years ago, where Ray Fiennes is Odysseus and Juliette Binoche is Penelope. And in that it's a decent film, but it's very stripped back. And in that version, Penelope, when she sees what's happening to the suitors, she literally screams and wails. And I compared it to what Anne Hathaway does in this version, where she's basically saying "burn the bastards,"
Yeah.
and I like that a lot more.
Yeah.
Controversial. I thought Tom Holland was awful. He was just a whiny kind of like, "What do I do, Daddy? Oh, what do I do?" Like
a lot of people have said that to me. They I think that he's playing such a boyish character, right? Like it's so kind of broad. But I mean, he is Peter Parker in Spider-Man, so I think he's effectively cast. I liked him more in the second. What do you think? I was thinking Timothy Chalamet must be watching this movie.
I still
thinking,
didn't. Could you imagine if it was Timothy Chalamet?
Yeah,
I would have despised it. I can't stand him. No, it was weird that Holland was, he was very much the child in this one, and he's grown up in a world where he's surrounded by people who are trying to take advantage of him, take advantage of his mother, that his father's not present, and he was, surrounded by so much, in some respects, the people that were on his side were very strong and very, very much leaders, but then you also had the toxicity of the suitors, and he kind of, I don't know, I feel like it's not fair to say that he came off weak and a little too childish, because that's, effectively, the guy's 18, 20 years old.
That's what I was trying to figure out. How old was he meant to be? Because I was trying to figure out the timeline, because he said he didn't know his father. So when did Odysseus leave? Like, how old was he meant to be?
I think he was still only 20. So he's still very young when when his father
Odysseus
left.
was gone 10 years?
He's meant to be 20. So Odysseus has gone for 17 years.
That
7
makes
years.
more sense.
7
Okay, I
years.
thought it was only 10. That's why I was like, why don't you remember your dad?
No, 7
You were
years on the
10.
beach.
And Tom Holland is 30.
Yeah.
So he's meant to be 10 years younger. In his defense as well, Telemachus is an incredibly hard character to get right. In all versions I've read of it, watched it, he's the most hard character to care for, in a way.
Okay.
I still think he's probably the weakest link in the batch, but yeah, I see why it's a difficult character to get.
I think there is a hard thing to overcome with this movie, and Nolan needed to do it to mount a production of this scale, but you are watching scenes now and then you're going, I'm watching Catwoman and Batwoman talk to Jason Bourne and Spider-Man. And I think that, there was...
Who's Batwoman?
Catwoman. Hathaway. Yeah.
All right.
But I mean...
Sorry, you said Batwoman.
Did I say
was like,
Batwoman?
what?
I meant Catwoman. Sorry.
Yeah.
But that, that you're
You
looking
threw
at...
me.
You're looking at kind of these Batwoman never to be released. Maybe Batwoman is in it. Who knows? But
No, that was Batgirl.
Batgirl, But there is effectively this Mount Rushmore of American movie stardom that's going on in this, mythological Greek tale. And I think that there is a bit of reconciliation. For a moment, you go, am I seeing the actor or I'm seeing the cast member? There is a little bit of metacasting, I think, in this in some kind of regards.
That's one area where I think Matt Damon did a much better job than someone like Christian Bale as well.
Yeah.
Christian Bale has that effect
100%.
to be just Christian Bale pretending to be a character. Everyone's a version of Christian Bale. He does it well, but I don't think it would have worked with something like this.
He would have been very serious in this movie, you can tell, right? There's a softness to Damon that I like. I appreciate this, or a multifacetedness.
Well, you totally believe him as a dad.
Yeah.
Like when he first sees Tom Holland, still can't remember his character's name. And you can see he has that instinct to want to just go to him, but he can't and he doesn't. And you can kind of see that pain/annoyance on his face. And I only noticed it the second time. I didn't notice it the first time.
I think Damon also is a good cinematic purveyor of frustration. He's frustrated in a lot of his films, whether it's like Good Will Hunting or Rounders. Like when people are incompetent or stupid, now and then he can kind of dress them down. And even that one scene when they're eating the cattle and he comes in and he goes, what did you think would happen? I'm like, that's pure Damon. Damon does that thing where he kind of goes, how did you think this was going to go? So
it's such a dad thing too. It felt like
it does feel like
a disappointed father.
Yeah, I told you.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Disappointed. Yeah. I did everything I could to keep you alive.
Oh well, on the boat we go. Special effects. I was very surprised that, the level of practicality. I know everyone's talking about the ogre, but for me it was sissy. That scene is just wild.
The body horror.
With Samantha Morton.
The fact that was all
phenomenal.
practical is insane.
Mm.
And he said that he spoke to GDT about it. to get advice. And he was like, yep, only do it practical and maybe think about this. And look how it
You
freaking
can
turned out.
kind of see actors like walking into the frame and obscuring what's the practical, like, and then you see the transformations and stuff.
Oh,
There's-
it's sickening in the best way.
yeah.
Yeah, wild. So where I'm going with this is, being that horror movie is really hot right now, is that Nolan's next genre? Horror.
He's saying that he
Would
might.
you like to see a Nolan horror movie?
I think if Nolan was to do a horror film, I think he would do an adaptation. I don't think he would do an original. I mean, he may have a great idea up his sleeve, but I can see him tackling something. The only thing that I find hard is I do think that there is a little bit of Nolan ego that he only wants to play around in sandboxes that he can basically make the chief like major work in it. So I think that like if he was to make a horror film, he would want to he'd do a Dracula or something like this, right? But even he's got
Really?
yeah, I think so. Well, I think so. I think he's got very stiff competition with Eggers.
I think Robert Eggers is.
And
Yeah.
Guillermo del Toro, those guys are kind of owning that genre in a very authentic way. And so I think that if Chris was to do a horror, I think it would have to be a big, gaudy, gothic horror film, I
I
believe.
see him as an exorcist.
Oh, that'd
Really?
be interesting.
Okay.
I would be very interested in a Exorcist Christopher Nolan film. What
The
that
thing-
would could look like.
I think is really interesting about Chris is that even though he makes movies with hard impact, he's a very sexless director. He's not a very violent director. Like it's really rare to see a gratuitous shot. Like where a director like David Cronenberg,
His film could almost pass the Hays Code. Like
Yes,
it's
honestly.
extremely conservative. Yeah,
extremely consider. So to do horror with violence and sex, I don't know what that looks like in a Nolan film.
extremely alienating for him. It's like I'm curious, but it would be extremely against type for him, which I'm keen to see him try.
I could see him doing another really big psychological thriller. I could see him tackling that with this kind of horror tinge to it. But full-blown horror, I don't know how that would look.
Well, think about it. Like Obsession is not full blown horror. That's psychological thriller territory
I think
slash horror.
all right, yeah.
Like there's probably 2 scenes that you could call full horror.
Mm.
And they're right at the end. But the first 3/4 of that film, it's essentially a psychological thriller.
I'm just trying to think. I'm
he
trying
could do a film of that style and still use, that and then bring in GDT at the end and say, go full horror, help me.
Buckets of blood. Let's go.
I feel like Nolan would do a Kubrick, like it'd be something like The Shining or something, where he would probably pick a lot.
Imagine if he remade The Shining.
Shining.
How angry would
Or
that
did,
make
a
people?
third Doctor Sleep movie. But I think that he would basically pick a institution or a place. So I think he would do maybe like a bit more of a colder and meticulous version of like A Cure for Wellness or something like that. Like it'd be, that's
The
how I
Rose
could see
Red.
Nolan. Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
This is such a home run. And I really believe that this is Best Picture locked in the bag. I can't see any film coming and taking this away. I don't know if Nolan will win. He'll win Best Director again, do you think?
I think it's way too early to make that call.
It will get a nomination for Best Director and it'll get a nomination for Best Picture. That's
Do you
just
think-
certain.
Do you think Damon will get a nomination? I think so.
Possibly
I don't know.
Hathaway will.
supporting. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're going to push.
People want Samantha Morton for Cersei
Yeah.
for that 10.
And
she steals the whole film in
Amy
10
Madigan
minutes.
won for
Do you think
Weapons,
she's got
so
enough-
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's been opened.
Do you think she has enough screen time to get it?
100%.
Absolutely.
Okay.
For a supporting role, it's 10 minutes.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. And
all right.
she's like, Beatrice Straight won for 5 minutes in Network.
True. Okay.
Out of interest, Pat, did you get the first, was it 6 minutes of June 3 before your screening?
No.
Okay.
It's amazing.
It's
so-
unreal.
It was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think whoever I was sitting with, I turned to and said, can we just watch that movie?
Yeah.
Please
So I think-
just load that movie. I want to see that.
I
You
thought
can't
that
show me
That's
6
left me
minutes and then
excited then.
turn it
That's
off.
good.
I thought it offered like the perfect contrast to what I was saying before, is that the way Denny shoots action and scale is very different to Nolan, right? Like it's like this is such a kind of
Extremely, yeah.
like fluid kind of, yeah. And so there are 2 distinct filmmaking styles going on here.
Because
And
so I was going to say that opening 5 minutes begins with the camera following a ship.
Yeah.
That goes down onto the beach, and you just feel like you're dropping.
Dropping
like
with it.
the velocity is you're going with them. And I went, if it holds like that for 2.5 hours,
It will.
unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Incredible. It was a good way to start off that screening.
I do
Very
think
good.
that
It's louder as well than the whole Odyssey, I thought.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do
Okay.
think the interesting thing with the Odyssey is that almost everyone that I've talked to has had to recalibrate what they thought it was going to be with what it actually is. So everyone kind of goes at either the quarter mark, halfway, or 3/4 mark. They go, "Oh, I'm giving into this, and I'm going to go along with it." Right?
And I think I've read a lot of issues with the lighting in some scenes, particularly when they're running away from the Cyclops down the hill. And that is a IMAX problem because when I watched it in Apex, wasn't there.
The 70mm that
How
Karen and I
was
saw it
yours
in,
70mm? Yeah.
unwatchable.
It was so dark in 70
It was so dark.
millimeter.
You couldn't even see the
Really?
Cyclops.
The Cyclops scene was borderline unwatchable.
Yeah, you could only see its
Yeah.
hand. You couldn't see its face. Yeah, that there were sequences that were the fall of Troy, like in the gates opening, was so dark you couldn't. And then when we were talking to people in the lobby afterwards, they said there were really brave creative choices where you couldn't see anything in this film. We go, that's not the way it's meant to be presented.
I spoke to about 7 people and they were like, I enjoyed what I could see of it. I felt like I was back in the final season of Game of Thrones.
That's crazy.
It was the darkest film I've
Wow,
ever seen in
yeah.
the theater, and the loudest on those speakers. A woman next to me jumped up like 10 times every time water would hit the
Well,
shit.
it's the new speakers. It's the new speaker system
Oh, yes, yeah.
that they've installed. Yeah.
It
Sounds
was
great. But
lighting and visuals were pretty much spot on out of Sydney.
Okay.
But again, it's a different IMAX setup.
Yeah. Interesting.
so you say that, Alistair, that
So I've seen it in our IMAX, which is the 70.
1570 mil
And then I saw it in
1x43
Hoyt's IMAX, which
Yes.
was better than our IMAX. And then Apex.
and Apex was the best. Okay.
But it also had the D-box seats. And
How was that?
it
was
was
the
a-
box
do you know
was
what?
was the boat rocked?
Yeah. So someone 4 seats down from us felt seasick and turned their seat off because the whole time they were at sea, it was just like rocking like that. And then when a wave crashed, it would just go like, and then back to the rocking. And it was fine for me. Like I thought it was fine. But if it was the first time I was watching it, I would have found it really distracting.
And if you've had 3 champagnes, you might be in real trouble.
And I didn't drink that night smartly. Final thoughts
Look,
around the table?
I would give it 5 stars only because I kind of come
Okay.
from a bit of an old school reviewing thing where it's very strictly divided into, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I'm like, this is more than a 4. It's not a perfect film, but it's definitely, to me, it feels like it warrants that Empire magazine epic 5-star thing. If you just spread it up to 10, like I can see that you could drop it down to 9 because there are some issues there, but I think in totality, what its ambitions are so big. Like there are small improvements that I would make arguably, but that is so theoretical and like armchair expert shit. Shut up, Adam, and just give it 5 stars.
Pat, final thoughts?
Yeah, like I said at the start, mate, it's definitely one that needs to be experienced. If you can, whoever's going to go and see it, get your chance to watch it on the biggest, loudest screen you can. It's definitely something worthwhile on that. Having a bit more of a thought, sort of as we've been talking about it, there is probably a good chance on streaming and whatnot. It'll get another watch solely because my daughter wanted to. She's very big into Greek mythology, and wanted to come and see it with me, but didn't quite know the rating and how it would all work for her age.
So can I ask, would you think she is old enough to watch it?
Yes.
Okay,
So my
cool.
my daughter's 14.
Okay,
She's a mature 14. And yeah, there's nothing really like you said with a lot of what Nolan does. There's nothing over the top. There's nothing gratuitous. It's well in line and it's effective for the period as well.
What's left to say, really? It's a fantastic film that handles things like PTSD and guilt and shame and has characters that revel in valor in battle, but also makes you turn heroism into horror in other sequences, which is where the film really shines. I think it's got his most rousing and satisfying third act maybe he's ever done. I think it is a prequel in my mind thematically to Oppenheimer. I think these are 2 films about men that have broken the world, whether it be through an act of physical destruction or through, in this film, it's the idea that no one has manners anymore and that sacking a city is defying Zeus's law. Yeah, so I think there's some issues with the dialogue. I wish the film had a bit more in terms of sexuality going on. I think Nolan has always been a sexless ghoul, but it could be just a tad more provocative in that sense. I think that some tighter dialogue choices might have benefited it, but as Adam said, you are picking apart something that is undeniable and gargantuan in scale.
You didn't like him calling for his dad?
All of our issues are going to be erased because we're getting Elon Musk's AI version coming out soon.
Oh, I read that this morning.
What?
Do you know what? I'm excited to see that, just to see how horrendous it's going to be.
As am I, because once again, I find myself doing this and I'm like, Nolan has embarked on this thing for maybe his entire career and this is what he's put up on the screen and people going, I think I can fix that. And we go, okay, in real time, we've gotten a bit, there are limitless resources in the digital approximation. And we go, and it's this bad. Hopefully that will make people just never have that argument again, go, this is what I would do. And you can just go, I'm going to point you to a YouTube video. And if you can get more than 30 seconds in, you have passed this kind of like waterboarding spiritually that is, Elon Musk's Odyssey.
God,
I will not be waterboarding myself.
I can't wait.
Mm.
I think one thing that I just want to finish on to is John Leguizamo. I didn't talk about him. He was phenomenal. And I think this might be one of my favorite performances of his, if not my favorite performance of his.
He's excellent. He's really excellent.
I was very surprised. It was he's not in it as much as everyone else. But when he is there, he definitely does, kind of show up everyone else in the scene.
For a guy that's throwing dogs off a cliff,
My God, that did make me mad.
he makes you care about him pretty damn well.
Yeah, well, he kind of, made up for it by the end of the film with how he was treating Odysseus's dog. So I gave him a pass for the time and what was happening. I don't know.
It took me the 2 viewings to realize what he was doing. The second or third time, I was like, oh, he's throwing the dogs off the cliff.
Literally.
I wanted to pretend that he wasn't. It's like, I'll be just.
He was just releasing them into the wild, out of my care.
There's a mattress on the other side.
There wasn't the filming.
We had someone in the screening that yelled out some abuse at the screen at that time.
Really?
Yeah, as soon as they saw that, they were not happy.
Was it Barnaby Joyce?
Justifiably so.
Sit down.
Barnaby, go home. Well, that is the Odyssey. It is still showing in cinemas. It's probably going to be in cinemas for at least the next 3-4 months.
The next 10
Rest
years.
of the year.
Yeah, I think IMAX, they've just released September, October sessions, which is
September,
wild.
Yeah.
So,
People coming
Sydney's
all over the
doing
world for that.
Yeah, Sydney's doing like 6 a.m. IMAX screenings so people can go before work, which is
The Age
wild.
did a story on a kid that moved to Australia just to see the IMAX, Odyssey and IMAX here.
Oh, people are flying from overseas because we have the IMAX in Melbourne is the biggest screen in the Southern Hemisphere.
Yeah.
So people are flying in just to see it. I know someone that's booked 12 screenings of it.
What?
Yeah.
Why
Shout
are you
out to shout out to Kia's reviews.
I was about to say,
That's-
why are you talking about yourself in third person, Carl?
I was going to say, are we talking about Adam here or what?
No, that'll be when The Adventures of Cliff Booth come out.
I'm on a respectable 3 viewings.
Yeah, me too. And I said at the end of the last one, I think I'm done now. But I could probably be easily talked into going again because I know myself, just not the awful IMAX seats at Melbourne. Sorry, I love your screen. I hate your seats.
They
For a
need to
3-hour
renovate this.
movie.
They need to renovate the seats.
Seats are shocking everywhere.
Are they bad in Sydney too?
Yeah, and it's solely, I think, because it's still it's still for like those open air helicopter sort of flight
Yeah, like
things where you feel like
documents.
you're going to fall out of the seat into the screen.
Right.
So yeah, sitting there for 3 hours, you're twisting a lot, and being I'm over 6 foot tall, it doesn't help either. So
Well, that is the Odyssey. That is our thoughts. Thanks everyone for joining.
Thanks for having me.
thanks for joining.
Cool. Do you want to plug your sites or anything or socials?
I feel like I'm just.
Yes, not.
You can find me at Adam Ross Film on Instagram and be amused by me petting dogs and giving Letterboxd reviews.
He won't be throwing them off cliffs
Maybe.
anymore.
You could find me on Letterboxd under Khan Duncan, Instagram under Khan Duncan, on websites such as The Curb, This Is Film, and NovaStream.
And get over and follow the NovaStream socials. NovaStream Instagram, NovaStream X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. That's where I play around a little bit. My personal one is Snooker Vision, if anyone's interested. Come and say good day.
Best name. Cool. And that does it for another episode of Lethal. Just want to say a massive thank you to my guests for all jumping on to talk about the Odyssey. If you do like what you're hearing, please give me a like and subscribe if you're listening to me on Spotify or iTunes. Those ratings, and if you feel like dropping a comment, does really, really help other people find the podcast and go a long way. You can find me on my socials. They're all in the show notes below. I'm Lethal, and I will see you next week for a Spider-Man filled episode.